Breakfast, lunch, and dinner in 10 minutes. Let me show you how. If you're on a GLP-1 and you're trying to find a good diet that's easy to maintain, and you're like me, you don't mind eating the same thing every single day or many of the days, well, I have a trick for you that will help you take the guesswork out of what you're going to eat every single day. I make a really simple breakfast that you can repeat every day, add your own spices and flavors, a lunch that takes literally less than 5 minutes, and as long as you have a crock pot, I have a simple, repeatable meal plan that you can do for dinner that will be ready for you whenever you're ready to eat. Let me start with breakfast. That takes sliced peppers and onions, egg whites, and a little bit of oil, and you can make it on a single pan in just a few minutes. And then we'll move into a lunch that is literally just heat and eat in the microwave and has as many calories as 80 grams depending on how much chicken you want to add. And while you're making your lunch, you can throw a simple chicken crock pot meal in that will be ready for you in a few hours or whenever you feel like eating dinner. Here's a breakfast you can make every single day. You can buy these at the store, pre-sliced peppers and pre-sliced onions. If your friends make fun of you like they did of me for buying something so simple, you can even save money by buying a whole onion and a whole pepper and slicing them yourself. For me, I found this the best way to get started is to just have it pre-sliced. I have no excuses. You go in the fridge, you dump it in the pan, saves you a whole step, saves you some cleanup. But if you are going to find yourself making this and you like it as much as I do, I usually do just buy some onions and some peppers. It is a lot cheaper than them being prepared, and plus these can go bad pretty quickly. Once they're, especially the peppers. The onions last a little longer, but once the peppers are cut, you only get a couple of days till you have to make them. But they are sliced like this. Otherwise, you can save a step or use a step of cutting them yourself. I have some coconut oil. I like coconut oil. You can use any oil. I wouldn't use butter because when you're sauteing these, you're going to keep it a little higher than you will for the eggs, so the butter's going to get brown. If you like brown butter, that's fine too. I like coconut oil. Adds a little bit of flavor that I enjoy. You can use olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you feel like, really. So once this oil is heated up, you can see it's smoking a little bit. I don't know how well this translates. Again, this is not a cooking show, but I'm doing my best. I'm going to take some peppers here. I'm going to throw them into the hot oil. It's going to splatter a little bit. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit more. It's up to you how much you like. Since these are going to go bad soon anyway, this is the end of it. I'm just going to throw them all in there. I usually do a whole pepper at once, and I'll do half an onion at once. And again, you can eat as many peppers and onions as you feel like, as long as it's not like a blooming onion that's all fried and breaded. I dare you try to eat a whole one of those. I did that before Zepbound and I couldn't do it. I need my spatula. I'll grab a nice blue spatula here. Here we go. So we're just going to saute the peppers and onions. Usually till the onions get soft. You'll notice them get a little translucent. It's not super important how well done they are. It's really up to your preference, how long you feel like waiting. But it's usually best to get them all a bit soft. Throughout the thing, I'll add either some salt. This is the butcher's blend that I use other times. This is salt, pepper, and garlic. Sometimes I just add salt to dry them out a little bit, but just to get that flavor all spread out, all in the juice. So when I add my eggs, that it's delicious. So we'll let this simmer for a little bit. I'll fast forward ahead so you don't have to wait for this whole thing to simmer. But what we're going to do is when this reaches the proper doneness, I'm going to add my egg whites. This, I usually don't even measure this. I usually just fill up the pan. But for my audience, for you guys, I'll do anything. So I went ahead and pre-measured this. This is 4 servings of egg whites. 4 servings of egg whites, at least according to this one, is 3 tablespoons per serving. So that's 12 tablespoons. That would be 75 calories, and you're going to get 15 grams of protein out of this. So 15 grams of protein in the morning. We will see how much I get through lunch and dinner. But if you need to supplement some more, you can try to add a protein shake throughout, depending on how much protein you're shooting for. You can always add more egg whites if you want. Really, maybe there's pretty low calories for the proteins that you get. You can add more chicken to lunch or dinner, more protein to dinner. But we're letting this saute out. This is actually, of all of our meals, so I guess the crock pot's going to cook for longer. But this one takes the most amount of preparation and time. you'll see my lunch is literally less than 3 minutes and it's done. No pans, no pots, no cooking, no cleaning. It's fantastic. And then because I'm using the crock pot, that's also only going to take a few minutes of work to get it into the crock pot. The crock pot does all the heavy lifting from that point on. It's going to cook for hours, but I'm not going to have to attend to it at all. And it's just going to be ready to eat. And then all I have to do is clean the crock pot in a single pan. So this is what I like to do every single day of the week, as often as I have the ingredients. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I change it up. But this saves me from going to Dunkin'. It saves me from ordering DoorDash. It's only going to take a few minutes to get this ready to go. It does have some cleanup, but I start my morning off with this. Usually, if I'm lifting that morning, I'll try to lift early. I like to lift before I eat, not because of any specific study or benefit, but once I get into cooking and then I'm going to clean and then I'm going to eat it, and then I'm pretty much probably into my routine for the day. I'm going to get ready for work. So I'm probably not going to hit the gym in between cooking, eating, cleaning, and then gym. But it's all up to you. If you prefer to have some food in your stomach, you could start off with this. Again, that's one of the reasons to buy them prepared, or you can pre-cut them the night before. They will last a day or two. If you cut them early, you cut them yourself to save some money. You kind of get the best of both worlds. So if you want to make this in the morning, and then you're going to go hit the gym yourself, and then you're going to shower and get ready so that you don't have to come back and clean or anything like that, that's all up to you as well. I like to do my lift early in the morning, get it out of the way, and then I won't forget about it. So this is looking pretty good. I have a nice new non-stick pan here. It's fairly new at least, so the coating's pretty good. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll also take Pam, so I put the coconut oil in there to kind of saute, but they've soaked it all up. I don't know if you can see what that looks like in there, but it's a little dry in the bottom. I don't have a problem with this pan, but if you do, you can just spray a little Pam. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to actually turn the heat down because you want it, I have mine right around medium, a little above medium to saute. I like a little char on there. I see some of them maybe close to burnt, but they're not actually burnt. I like them like that. It's going to enhance the flavor. Then I just like to spread this around. See how well this translates to video? I like to spread this around so it's kind of an even layer. That way I don't have like just a blob of these in the middle of the eggs. And I'm gonna, like I said, usually I'll just open this up and pour it in. This is pre-measured amount. I'm gonna pour this in. I'm not gonna tip it because I want it to stay relatively flat so the things stay where I put them. I'll show you in a minute. So that kind of fills it up. I don't mind sometimes adding even a little more egg because there's not a whole lot to this dish. And then what I'll often do, I don't have them right here. Royo bread, I've made a video about them before. Royo bread is really high in fiber, really low in calories. It's not the most delicious bread in the world, but it's perfect to go with a breakfast like this. So I'll toast up 2 slices of my Royo bread to get my fiber in the day. This is starting to solidify now, so what I really just do is kind of flip it over in quarters, try to keep it together so I have that even spread, but it's not, it doesn't matter. I even missed the pan there. It doesn't matter, you just want it to cook. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of the butcher blend and to go with my fiber and my bread. It's a great start to the day. And then I love hot sauce, so I have a collections of hot sauce up here. Let's see, I have Cholula. I love for eggs because it's a little thicker. They add a thickener in here so it's not runny like Frank's or Pete's or Louisiana hot sauce I have up here. I also have a bacon hot sauce. So this is pretty good. If you find something like this, bacon hot sauce, this is also a little thicker. So since I'm not actually making bacon, it kind of adds to the flavor that I like. This is all done now. It's cooked through. It's up to you. You can cook it less. You can cook it more. And then this is good. You're just going to throw this on a plate. You're going to put hot sauce on it, no hot sauce on it, more salt, more pepper. I don't know what else people like. You can put salsa on this. If I had salsa, sometimes I'll throw salsa on it. It would actually pretty go well with the lunch you're going to see, where I'm doing a taco-inspired chicken crock pot. Well, that's actually for dinner. But yeah, it's really up to you how you'd like to season it. And I will share with you the macros, and then I'll share with you the macros for the whole day of these 3 simple meals. Enjoy your breakfast. Now I'm going to show you the easiest lunch you'll ever make. It literally takes 3 minutes. This is a bag of super grains. That's 350 calories, 12 grams. I'll put all the macros on after these meals. You just open up this bag, you throw it in the microwave for 3 minutes. It may look a little strange. All I have, this is not bumblebee tuna. This is Bumblebee chicken breast. Any canned chicken will work. Tuna might even work if you prefer tuna. I like chicken. This can is 200 calories, and you get 38 grams of protein for those 200 calories. That's roughly about what you're going to get in any can of chicken. It's an amazing protein profile, and this is unseasoned. So what I like about this, similar to what I'll show for dinner, is you can pretty much add the flavor profile you want. Since I'm pairing it with these super grains, these have lemon and garlic dressing. I find this a little bit dry altogether, so I have some lemon pepper here. This can be a little salty, so I just add a little bit of this to add a little more of that citrus kick. I have red wine vinegar that I like to add to it when it's ready to go. And then I also have this butcher's blend. This is just salt, pepper, and garlic. Again, just to kind of bring up the saltiness just a little bit. But really all you do, you just take this can of chicken. I'm not going to move my phone all around. I don't have a cooking show set up here. But once you open the can lid, what I like to do is just kind of open it 3/4 of the way, maybe a little bit more. I can push down on this lid and drain out the water. I run a little water over it in the sink until most of the liquid has come out. And then what you get is this nice dry chicken breast. Dry as in there's not water in it anymore. And then you're gonna add it to your bowl with the seasoning. Before I do that though, because this takes 3 minutes, this is the long pole, you just vent one of the sides. I just tend to vent both the sides. You just pull it a little bit. I'm gonna pop this in my microwave again. That's on the other side of the phone. I'm not gonna move it all around. You know what a microwave looks like. Throw this in the microwave for 3 minutes. That's going to heat up. I'm going to come back, put the chicken in the bowl, add the seasoning, and then we'll be ready to mix them together. Okay, so I have the power greens heating in the microwave. I have my fork just going to flake out. I don't know how well this translates to video, but I'm just going to pull out the chicken here, try to leave as much of the water behind. It's mostly gone since I drained it already. So I have this is, I can discard now. I have some nice chunks of chicken that have no seasoning, so if you don't need seasoning, you could just eat it like this. I like some flavor, so I have the lemon pepper. Again, it's kind of salty, so I'm not going to put too much on. Also, the lemon can be really overpowering in here, but because the chicken doesn't have any flavor, I like to mix it in here with the chicken. I'm going to add this in here. I'm going to take a little bit of this. This also has salt in it, but it has some extra garlic and some pepper that's going to pull it in. So we have the lemon pepper, the garlic pepper, garlic lemon kind of blend here. And then now my chicken is a little bit more flavorful. And then as the power greens finish up, I'm going to dump them on here. I'm going to mix that with some red wine vinegar, and you're good to go. Here's what makes this the easiest lunch you're ever going to make. 90 seconds in the microwave. 350 calories, 12 grams of protein. I'm adding that to a can of chicken breast that I seasoned with lemon pepper. Another 38 grams of protein. I'll have all the macros listed here. And then to keep it a little extra flavor, not make it so dry, I like to add some red wine vinegar. Mix that together. Super grains, chicken breast, lemon pepper. It's delicious. It takes less than 3 minutes. And it's a great lunch to keep it. While I'm waiting for my lunch to heat up in the microwave for the next 3 minutes, let me tell you about what we're going to make for dinner. And the easiest way to do this, it's very customizable. You can go to the store, you can look for any kind of seasoning blend that you like, really. I have this Meat Church hot honey barbecue powder. If you like Kingsford, this is like a smoky blend or a lemon pepper blend. I have this taco seasoning, which I'm actually going to be using in this recipe as well. But literally, if you go to the grocery store and you look for any of these powdered blends, it's not just McCormick's anymore. You have Kinder's makes really good spices. All sorts of people are putting their custom blends together. So the beauty of this is we're working with chicken breast here, which doesn't have a lot of flavor on its own. So you can pretty much bring any flavor profile that you really enjoy for your dinner. You just have to sprinkle a little bit on the chicken. You can rub it on the chicken however you want to do it. And then what I'm going to be adding to make this a meal is some black beans, just to have some carbs and some additional protein and fiber in there. And then just for a little extra flavor, I like these diced tomatoes with chilies. And since we're using a taco blend, I'm going to put a little bit on there because I do like it a little sweet and hot. But this is all going to go together. These are Perdue thin sliced chicken breast. I love these. This is a family pack I get from like Sam's Club. You can probably get them at Costco or just go to Walmart if you don't need. I have a family of, there's 6 of us, so I usually buy things in large family packs. But what I love about the thin slice versus the chicken breast itself is these almost need no trimming. They're cut really thin, so you couldn't use them for some purposes. Like I do grill with these, but they cook really fast. But these are perfect for adding a spice blend to, because the surface area, you're going to get a lot more spice as opposed to like a thick chicken breast. And usually when you buy these, even if they're trimmed in the store by Purdue or whatever, I usually have to trim a lot of the fat and some of the different pieces off. But what I found with these thin sliced chicken breasts, I can just take them out. They're ready to go. I throw them in the crock pot. They're going to render away anyway. So this takes almost no prep whatsoever. Okay, so I've got the chicken ready here. Whenever I'm working with chicken, as I mentioned, in order to not cross-contaminate anything, I always work with one wet hand, which I use as my left hand, and my right hand is my dominant hand. So that way I can do things like grab the spice that I'm going to put on, and I'll just touch the chicken with my left hand. I can lift the lid and everything with my other hand, and then I'll go wash when I'm done with the chicken. So what I like to do is I'm just going to sprinkle my main flavor here that I want to make sure is on my chicken. This is the Meat Church hot honey barbecue sauce. I'm just going to get it on the chicken, and since I have a lot of chicken here, like I said, this is a family pack. I'm just going to show the whole process here. I just sprinkle this on. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to kind of, chicken's pretty moist and wet, so as it cooks, a lot of this is going to get washed off, but it's going to get into the flavors that get into the crock pot. And the beautiful thing about crock pots is you can set it on low. There's low and high if you haven't used a crock pot before. The settings aren't, it takes a while to cook anything, which is nice. You can take any cheap cuts of meat, really, anything that's kind of dry on its own, and you cook it really long in the crock pot. You can set it up in the morning for like beef and pork, let it cook all day. I'm actually going to make a video if people are interested. I don't know how many people are used to crock pot meals besides just beef stew or whatever grandma used to make. But crock pots are amazing for setting up some meat, setting up some combination of flavors that you want in there, letting it cook, especially nowadays when everything's so expensive. I went to buy beef and I couldn't believe how expensive beef is. This chicken's only like $2.89 a pound, which is why I like working with chicken, because it's pretty cheap. And as you can see, I'm just throwing it into the crock pot here. There's no like heating element. It's going to be the ambient heat from the whole system, so it doesn't have to be touching the surface. Everything's going to cook. If you look it up, it probably tells you to crock pot on low chicken breast for 4 to 6 hours. One of the nice things about this, besides not having to trim a lot of this thin cut chicken breast, is it's going to cook a lot faster than that. So I usually cook it around 2 to 3 minutes, and because it's on low, you don't have to worry too much about it overcooking. If I were to leave it for like 6 to 8 hours, it would probably be really overcooked, maybe a little dried out. I haven't left it that long before, so I can't tell you. If anyone has mistakenly done that, let me know how it turns out, and maybe it's fine. But yeah, usually I set this up. That's why I'm doing it while my lunch is cooking. If you're cooking for yourself, you don't even have to do this much chicken. It's a lot faster. But since I'm only microwaving my lunch, it takes about 3 minutes or so to microwave the lunch. Or if you just want to do this first and then do your lunch, that way lunch will be ready in like 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, however long you need. And in the crock pot, it will kind of be patient for you. If you want to check on the chicken and you're not quite ready to eat dinner when it's cooked, you can set it. Most crock pots have a keep warm setting, so it won't get cold on you. So basically, what I'm doing here is I'm just putting this spice onto the chicken breast itself. So as it cooks, it'll absorb some of this flavor. As I mentioned, I have the black beans. I just took the can of black beans, you drain it through a colander, you rinse it off so that it's just the beans, not all the juice that's in there. I throw the beans in here because I also want it to have a taco flavor. This is kind of a taco style with black beans. I'm going to throw some of this taco blend in here. Doesn't really matter, like I said, how you add the seasoning. It's going to all mix together in the sauces and juices. And then this is the diced tomatoes. It just looks like this. I had one open already. And that one you don't have to drain or anything. You can just dump that in there so the tomato flavor gets all over. You don't really need to stir it or anything. Just I put it on medium. Mine says like a low medium, so it kind of says 4 hours there. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to put it on what's supposed to be 4 hours. I'll probably only cook it for the next 2 or 3 hours, and I can check on it. And the nice thing about it being thin cut chicken is there won't be any surprises. I can pull the piece out. If one is cooked, they're all really thin, they're all going to be cooked. You're not going to have a really thick piece that all of a sudden has some pink in the middle. So that's really it. This is going to set up. This is my... Here's our crock pot meal. We're about 2.5 hours into this. I'm just stirring the chicken. You don't necessarily have to stir it, but because I want it to have all the flavor as evenly as possible, they do, since they were so thin and I piled them on top of each other and I have so much in here. I'm separating them a bit. You can see it's, sorry for the camera work, it's gotten pretty flavorful, juicy in here. You can see it's the beans, some of the tomatoes are in there, the juice from the chicken is in here. The chicken looks like it's actually fairly well cooked. I'm just going to separate it, like I said, to get the flavors mixed around. But this is what it looks like about 2.5 hours in. I'd say they're pretty much cooked. I'm going to let it go another half hour, but it's pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to let it sit in the juice to just soak up that flavor so it's not too dry. But if you've been following along, this is what it looks like 2.5 hours later. So here it is, our finished product. This is what the crock pot looks like. I did add a bag of rice in here just because I had some ready-to-eat rice. And there was a lot of juice in there. I wanted it to soak up some of the juice. If you don't want the rice, don't add the rice. This is beans, tomatoes, and chicken. And here it is, a plate of the chicken and the rice and the beans all together. It's very delicious, moist, juicy chicken. So I hope you enjoy this recipe. It took about 3 hours to cook with the thin sliced chicken on low, and it is perfect.